puts up with me, but that's about it. But that is true, because if you've met Ping, you understand that she's wonderful, beautiful, and inside out. So, but I love him. He's my beautiful work wife, and I enjoy working with him every single day. But the bottom line is, you're going to hear some insights that we normally won't share. It's going to be pretty cool. That was probably the most powerful presentation I've ever heard Joe give, because he's going to talk about something where we're going to unlock things as opposed to just simply add something else to the table. Okay? There's a lot of difference between just saying, oh, and here's another product. And then you say, oh, and here's an unlock to change things. And that's a big deal. So I'm very self-conscious because Sandy says I've got things in my pockets, but the Prysm can fit in your pockets. So I don't know what to do there. I'm stuck. But I do have a clicker, and we have some slides for you. But I want to start off talking about something that's really, really important that you understand. So as we look at Prysm, we know this, right? Hopefully all of you know this. You're in the right place at the right time. I don't care whether you're in China, I don't care whether you're in Japan, or whether you're in the United States. The world is suffering right now from nutrient deprivation. Now, it's always been this way, but what's changed? It's information. We now know that we're nutrient deficient because it's all over the internet. And there's thousands and thousands of companies who are trying to fill this space. So we know that right now, $6.8 trillion wellness industry in 2024, and look, this growth, we're talking trillion with a T, 9 trillion. So if you're trying to create a business right now, you want to be with a business that's going to grow. There's very few industries that are on a $1 trillion growth rate over the next 5 years. That's where you want to be, and that's why you're here right now. So glad you're here. Buckle up. It's going to be fun. Now, why are they interested? They're not just interested in getting some nutrition. They want to get personalized nutrition. They want to understand what their health score is. They want to understand what their nutrition is putting in their body. No longer is it simple, vitamin A, it goes, I'll take the capsule, it goes into my gut, no problem. They want to say, is it clean? Is it healthy? Will it dissolve? I mean, you didn't even understand the words dissolution before and absorption before until we started to educate the world on this and make sure they understood that it didn't just mean a capsule goes into your gut and then automatically you're better. There's a huge difference between taking something, going into the gut, and actually having it do something for you. But then we need to take it even a step further and say, is it doing something for me? And how do I know it's doing something for me? Can you imagine just like putting money on something and you don't even know if it's true or not? You just kind of say, I'll just put $50, $100, $200, $300 every single month, and you don't know if it's actually doing any good. Can you imagine doing that? And you've got all these other things that you can be helping your family with or yourself with, and you're saying, but I'm going to go on faith that maybe this $200 that I'm sending off to some place and it may be doing some good, and you don't know. How would you like to know whether that $200 is being spent properly or that $100? That's what we're talking about, and that's what the burden of proof that Joe put on the team and said, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do anything in this industry that we are going to be hoping that it's going to be right. Now, it's really interesting. We talk about light and light technology, and we talk about the benefits of getting informed on all of these things. You see that light, how it hits you? Do it one more time. When there's light, boom, right? Pretty powerful, huh? But did it blind you sometimes? I saw some of you go, oh, like that, right? Oh, why'd you do that, Because here's the bottom line is, light is always moving, and it can be very powerful, it can show you something, but if it's aimed right at your eyeballs, it doesn't help you very much. Okay? So think of it like this. We're always talking about this because light is really the cornerstone of what Prysm's all about. And it's not just the light inside the Prysm, which hopefully you've seen, and hopefully you've looked at, and you said, oh, that's interesting. And you see this amazing technology, and you see what's going on inside of this. See how that's going like that? Is that light? 3,000 scans, lights hitting in 15 seconds. 3,000. Think about that. Boom, 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 measuring, analyzing, trying to make sure you understand what's going on, okay? It's searching to find out and give you that information. So, when you think about light, think about like this. A lot of people say, oh, this is black. No, it's not black. That color right there is not black. It's the absence of light. Black is not a color. Darkness is not a color. It's just the absence of light. You can do that in business, in your personal life. But when you get light, I'll give you an example. If you're in a cave and you're trying to figure out where the rocks are or where the gold is or where the good stuff is, but it's a dark cave and there's no light, how are you going to find it? Bumble and stumble, right? Then a good friend comes in and let's do this one more time with the light. And it says, okay, you want light? Here's light. Boom. And he gives you light and you go, did that help you? No. You got a flashlight going straight into your eyeballs and they said, yeah, here you go. Here's a light. And you're going, I can't see it. So it's one thing to have light. It's another thing to be able to use it intelligently. Now, if you take the flashlight from them, turn it around, step back and look with the light, that's the difference, okay? Let's take it to this. You can say, we're doing Prysm. It's still not enough. You can say, I just got my score. That's like saying, here's the flashlight to go right in your eyeball. It's a whole other thing to pick a solution because you know your score and it's going to give you information to actually make a change in your life and you make that subscription and you help others do the same. That's going from knowledge to intelligence to wisdom. And what I found in this business is those leaders, most of you here, when you're winning, it's wisdom. You're really working from wisdom. So we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the information about Prysm.io. We're going to talk to you a little bit more about what happens and how you use it. We're going to talk to you a little bit more about why this is going to be such a game changer and why this is going to revolutionize not just Nu Skin, although it's going to be amazing for Nu Skin and for those people who lean in early. It's going to be amazing for the entire world. And you guys are the only ones that are going to be able to give it to them. It's a big deal. So before I turn this over to Haley and so forth, I need one volunteer. Who's got the guts? Come on, don't shoot your arms up that fast. Okay, here we go. See? Perfect. Now, translation problem? Maybe. All right. So, everybody says, oh, this is going to be so hard, so confusing, so difficult. I don't know how to do it. This is so big. Let me show you, okay? What's your name? Okay. So, I'm going to ask you. So, we don't even talk the same language, okay? So, this is translated. Watch how fast it is. Set your timer. Okay? Here we go. Number one, do you care about your health?
Yes.
She said yes. Okay? Do you care about your family?
Yes.
Does your family care about you?
Yes.
Are they counting on you?
Yes.
Okay. If you knew that you could understand what your health was and you could do something to improve it, would you want to?
Okay.
If it was clinically backed with 112 studies and 20 years of research?
좋아요. Okay.
If you have 15 seconds, I'll change your life. Okay. So I'll turn this on. This is a simple test. It won't hurt a bit. You put your finger right there in the middle. Yep, right there. Perfect. Hold it there for 15 seconds. Tell me a little bit about your family. How many kids do you have?
Oh.
2 kids. How old?
37, 35.
That's awesome. So 2 kids. I just know she has a great family. She loves her husband. No, so she came and got a score. You scored purple. Is that good?
So core?
Yeah. See, she's confused. She doesn't know she got a good score. Do you want to know what that score means?
Yes. Yes.
If I sent you information to tell you your personal score and a way to improve it by a product that will help you improve your overall health, and if it doesn't improve your score and your health, you can have your money back in 30 or 45 or even 90 days.
Okay.
Do you want me to send it to you?
Yes.
Okay. I need your phone number.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll send you a text,
Yes.
and then you read that text and just respond back to me, I got it.
Yes.
And then if you have any questions, ask me about it, okay?
Okay.
Did you guys see how easy that was? Was that hard? Seriously. I mean, seriously. Like, come on. That was pretty straightforward, pretty simple, right? Guess what? This invites questions. When you put it out there, what's purple? How do I improve it? What's going on? How many kids do I have? These are the types of questions it's going to ask. So, but it gives you that 15 seconds. Some people say 15 seconds, but look, you can start asking them about them. You can start getting to know them. If you care about them, you will. Okay? So, with no further ado, I want you to hear directly from one of the individuals who was heavily involved in the engineering of this and has been with us since the LumiSpa IO and has helped us with all of these amazing features and benefits and so forth that you're seeing. And she is one of the most talented up and rising stars at Nu Skin in the engineering department. And she literally led a team 1 week before this team lead event to make sure that we would have these for you today and have them here for the event so you could try them out. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about the fact that we are the #1. By the way, have you guys seen this? We talked about yesterday. We're the world's #1 company for beauty and wellness device systems. We're already there. We already lead from a position of authority. You're not coming in going, oh, so are you interested in? We're already leading that field. You should stand tall when you represent Nu Skin. We put literally billions of dollars in clinicals in play for you. There's not many companies that do that. In fact, I don't know that many in the nutrition industry, led by Joe Chang and the team. So we'll have Haley talk a little bit about the science and the technology and kind of how they built it. And that's gonna be really, really helpful. Yoko's gonna go through a little bit of the science and the details of why that micronutrient gap filling is so important. And then we're gonna close it out with Joe Chang and an amazing Joe Chang speech that's gonna blow you away, okay? So I'll invite to the stage Haley Helquist.
Is this working? Okay, there we go. Hi everyone, thank you for coming tonight. We're really excited to dive in a little bit deeper about Prysm IO and what it means. I'm super excited and was so happy to see, I think pretty much all of you there today at the product experience and being able to scan on Prysm IO. And I hope you had a really enjoyable experience, especially as this is just kind of our first little sneak peek of the device and we'll continue to develop and improve the device. I also loved how even though we're in these early stages of development still, how you guys are just taking it and running with it. The social posts, the pictures, the videos, how you guys are already talking about it with even just such limited information is really inspiring. And I am honestly super impressed and excited to see where this will go with you guys helping to pave the way with Prysm IO. So what I want to talk to you today about is what is Prysm IO and how does it work? Why is it unique? Why is it special and proprietary? This team right here, this is our engineering team. So like Steve mentioned, I am not the only one working on this. We have a whole team back at our corporate office. This is actually a picture of us the night or two before that I actually left to come here on this trip, and we are getting the devices ready for you guys to be able to scan. And this just kind of shows how our team is just constantly working to make sure that this product is the best that it can be, along with our scientists and our marketing teams to help this come to life. Let's talk about what makes this so innovative. Why is Prysm IO special? First, I want to talk about our exclusive technology. We'll dive in a little bit about what this technology is, but I do want to mention that we have a patent that's pending on this technology, and a patent that's pending on the design itself. And so this is something that we're keeping proprietary. We want to make sure that this is unique to Nu Skin and something that is special for our teams to share, for you guys to share with the world. We also, as part of our technology, have an AI algorithm. And we'll learn about this in a second, but this AI algorithm is really unique because we are continuing to learn and build from it. We're funneling in data, we're learning from data, we're improving it. And that's what AI is, right? Is interpreting data and using data to learn and create new functionalities, new features, and provide broader benefits to our customers. And so we are now utilizing that in the Prysm IO device. Another aspect that's unique too is our 20 million scans from our S3. All those years you guys have spent scanning customers, scanning the world, we've been collecting that in a database. And those scans are helping us learn how to improve and use this new technology that's inside Prysm IO. And we're actually, without spoiling Yoko's slides, Yoko will walk us through some of that data and how it's looked, which is really fascinating. Another great thing is that it fits in your pocket, right? We love that. I think it's so fun, portable. And it's really interesting today as I've been meeting with each of you to hear your stories about how you've been carrying the S3 for the last few years, right? Hauling it on planes, needing to drag it along. It, I'm sure, has not been easy, but you guys have grit and you're driven and you're dedicated to it. And I'm happy to say that you do not have to carry around an S3 anymore, that you can now go and put Prysm IO in your pocket, in your bag, take it anywhere with you, and just make it super easy to share. It's fast. You've experienced that today, right? We've gone from scans that have lasted at 3 minutes to a minute to 30 seconds to now 15 seconds, which is, again, just a huge feat. And because of this technology, which we'll talk about, it enables us to be able to make these scans faster and simpler, I would say, to operate and to understand. And because of this, we're more accessible and affordable. One question we get a lot is, well, why couldn't you just use the same technology that was in the S3 device and just make it smaller? Well, to put it simply, the technology in the S3 device was really expensive and big. We have not found a way to make it any smaller. And because of that, right, the units were bigger, you had to calibrate them more often, you need to maintain them, they were too expensive to buy. And so we ended up looking at a different technology that allowed us to make it more accessible and affordable, but it also helped us to expand our story and expand the narrative of what Prysm IO is and what we're measuring. And lastly, it also makes it really easy to share, right? You can carry it anywhere with you, scan anyone, like Steve demonstrated, super easy to talk about, non-invasive, it's not intimidating, it's just a little device. And because it's smaller, right, technology is going smaller. I know some initial reactions are like, how can you put such expensive equipment into this small device, right? Well, that's where the world is going. Look at your watches, your smart rings, right? Everything. We're not carrying around heartbeat monitors that are the size of bricks, right? It's all small and portable, and that's where technology and science is headed, and it allows us to make it easier to share. Okay. This is where we geek out a little bit, and we're gonna dive into what is actually going on in the Prysm IO device. Elements to the technology. The first is called hyperspectral absorption. When Steve was showing you that device, and hopefully you saw it today too, inside the lens you see 5 LEDs that are just flashing super fast, right? Thousands of measurements per second during that 15-second scan, right? We're just flashing those LEDs, and what's happening is we have 5 lights in there. A few of those are used to look at actually the carotenoids in the skin. And then a few of those lights are actually used to measure other elements in the skin that we may want to filter out to make sure that we're getting a clean reading. And when we do that, we're actually gonna measure the light as it goes up into your finger. So we measure how bright it is. And then after it hits your finger, we measure how it looks coming back down. And we take that measurement, which is so small. It's like decimals, tiny. And we take those measurements and we plug that into a machine learning model. But this right here, before I move on, this is the hardware in the device. This is what's going on. That's why you see those lights flashing, right? It's those measurements that are happening super fast. But that's not all. We take those hyperspectral absorption measurements and we actually run it through some data as part of it, right? As we calibrate these devices, as we're learning how they work, we're actually referencing that 20 million database of scans that we have. We're looking, we know what antioxidants look like. We know how people score. We know how lifestyle impacts your score, right? We're taking all that information that we've learned and we're putting that into a machine learning model. And this is what is really proprietary and unique to Nu Skin, right? You may say, oh, so-and-so measures, health or antioxidants, right? But they don't have what Nu Skin has, and that's this proprietary database and the learning and the years of knowledge that we have on how our nutritional health impacts our overall health, right? We know that supplements really help, and that eating healthy and exercising and sleeping all impact our health. But these three elements, this is what is patented and what we call the umbrella of the technology as spectral ray technology. So you got your hyperspectral absorption measurements, you've got the Raman data and our Raman knowledge and our antioxidant knowledge, and we are running that through this AI algorithm. And that is what makes Prysm IO unique and proprietary. It's our software, it's the math, it's the functionality of how we're running that technology that makes it proprietary. One thing I wanted to talk about too is, we get a lot of questions too, is, oh, well, how does it compare to the biophotonic scanner? Which makes sense. We've used it for 20 years, right? This is our story. But we wanted to show how, even though we're using different technology, we're still measuring the same elements, the same biomarkers in the body. And so what you're looking at here is we did a study with S3 and with Prysm IO, just a prototype. And we had people take LifePak and we measured them on both the S3 and the Prysm IO at 4, 8, and 12 weeks. Now look at this graph really closely. Blue is S3 and orange is Prysm IO. You'll see at each of those time points, the scores went up, right? Increase from 4 to 8 and from 8 to 12. But what you'll notice though is that they're not neck and neck every single time. They're not right next to each other. And why this is important is we're using different technology. And so the trend is the same. We're increasing scores as we live healthier lives, take our supplements, exercise, but the scores are not the exact same, right? We're using a different technology, a different calibration, but we are still giving the same insights and information with this new technology. We'll have more clinical studies coming out, but we wanted to just share this as we're doing some kind of preliminary research. But we have some exciting studies coming, which will be, I think, really great to look at. So we'll share those soon. And then lastly, just really simple, Steve demonstrated this, but we want to just emphasize again how simple, because this technology is new, we've changed, we want to really simplify the process as well. Make it easy to share, make it easy to talk about. And so number one is score. Ask them the question, do you know your nutritional health? Do you want to know more about your health, right? They'll say yes. Do we stop there? No. We have a solution, right? That's also what makes this story even more powerful. Not only do we have proprietary technology, but we have proven solutions that pair with this, right? We don't just say, oh yeah, you scored low. Sorry, good luck, hope you can get it higher. No, we say, hey, we've got LifePak, we've got Beauty Focus Collagen Plus, try it. And then the last thing is just following up, saying, hey, how do you like the products? Do you want to try some more products? Is your score increasing? How are you feeling? Do you feel better? And this really is the simple 3-step process. I did make it pretty high level. We will dive into some of the functionality on the app and the tools that we can provide to help you tell this story in some later trainings. But for now, this is the picture that we want to paint for how Prysm IO will function and work. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President of Marketing, Yoko Little. She is the brains and helps to lead our teams to help craft this whole story, how it comes together with product, how we sell it, how we talk about it. And she's just the cherry on top for this development work. So without further ado, I'll introduce Yoko Little.
Thank you, Haley, and thank you everyone for being here today. So nice to see many of you, and I know we just saw many of you during the Prysm experience as well. So we talked a little bit, actually quite a bit about some of the key variables, as we scanned each one of you and we talked about your lifestyle, and I asked a lot of questions because, the bottom line is many of you already are well on your way with the wellness journey. you're eating right, you're making the right lifestyle choices, you're taking supplements daily, maybe multiple supplements with great carotenoid components, you're well on your way to improve your body composition. And a lot of those really shows in the data. Many of you that I scanned had high or extra high scores, and that was so inspiring. So I was mainly listening today just to understand and learn, what you do to be able to achieve such an excellent status of your health and wellness. But in reality, many of the population, when you look at the global data, 80% or more of the global population fall in the low to moderate range. So there's a number of people, great number of customers out there who we can reach out and help through this. And the way we see, the data is, as Steve, showed earlier, life path, fruit and vegetable servings, BMI, smoking, through the 20 years of scan data and over 21 million scan data, we've analyzed it to really understand how each of these components impact your scan data and your health. So when you have no life path, low fruit and vegetable servings, high BMI, which means you tend to be a little more overweight or obese, and smoking, majority of the population really fall under a very low score. And as you make improvements and make the right choices, stop smoking, improve your BMI by becoming fit and active, taking more fruits and vegetables, and taking life pack once a day, or taking life pack twice a day as recommended, you make really great improvements towards your journey. And I've had the opportunity to scan my family, scan my friends, scan my coworkers, and I have seen people move from low to moderate and just move towards your green, blue zones. And that's such a rewarding journey. And this is where we can really relate to the mission to be the forceful good for the world and be able to empower people to improve lives. This innovation has direct tie to that mission of the company. So I believe strongly on this innovation, and I know you will continue to take the opportunity to help improve the health and wellness status of many people around you. So one other thing I just wanted to introduce is this great, study that was recently actually published. It was published in 2024 in Lancet Journal. This is a study that was conducted by Harvard and University of California, Santa Barbara. And they created this, they had this study covering 185, it's one of the largest study to take a look at the nutrient gap globally and also how it varies per region. So vitamin A, iodine, vitamin C, as you go through, you can see which region throughout the world is more deficient than others. But looking at a lot of this data, our R&D team actually has been actively working on how we utilize these type of new insights into our supplement, particularly with LifePack. So that's one thing that we're actively currently working on. And when you look at all of these, thiamines and magnesium, when you look at it on a per country basis, this is how it maps out. So United States, as you can see some of the lower nutrients such as vitamin E, iodine, vitamin C. And then on the bottom, selenium, niacin, thiamine, those actually are reaching, close to the recommended level. So here, we can help bridge the nutrient gap specifically for this region by adding more vitamin E, adding more iodine, adding selenium and niacin, but maybe just a little bit. So that's one of the ways to help meet the nutrient gap on the regional basis. But take a look at how it looks. So when you go to Latin America, that nutrient gap mapping looks completely different. So this is where you realize the one-size-fits-all approach on the nutrition side just does not make sense. Armed with data like this, we're able to meet the nutrient gap in a different way than we've done before. Here's Japan, high vitamin E, high vitamin B12, low in some other areas. So again, we have a unique way of meeting this nutrient gap for Japan. Korea, I have to say, with the scan data, Korea consistently scores very high on the antioxidant levels. Great culture, great focus on fitness, great, diet. But it has its unique needs as well. So how do we meet the needs of the Korea and also, China and many other markets? So this is a project that we actually have been working on actively, and you will soon see a brand new approach to to how we can meet those nutrient gaps in each of the markets. So a lot of these great work is led by our brilliant team of scientists led by Dr. Joe Cheng. So I'd like to now welcome Dr. Joe Cheng to talk a little more about some of these great research and also the Prysm IO.
Thank you. Wow, okay, so we have different markets here, right? Korean, 안녕하세요. You have some Europeans maybe?
At least
Okay,
one.
all right, I can only speak English, so I'm gonna try. This is pretty key. You have been given a lot of data by our brilliant Yoko, our brilliant Haley, Steve, everybody. They have given you data coming out from the wazoos. All right, literally, you probably are suffering from some information overload. So what I'm trying to do, instead of showing you more data, I'm trying to see whether I can make some meaning out of the data and why we're doing and sharing all this data with you. All right? Because fundamentally, when I look at what you guys do, and you're all team leads here, that's why you're on this trip. Why are you successful? And what is your major talent, if you will, that you are really focusing on? And that is duplication. Would you agree?
Yes.
That's what you're good at. You duplicate. But if we give you Prysm and you cannot duplicate, we're going to fail. Because Prysm is not about a slight improvement. It's about a mind shift. It's a mindset change. To use a buzzword, it's a paradigm shift, and it truly is. And what am I referring to? I'm referring to the fact, please, it's not about antioxidants per se or anymore. It took us 20 years because the first biophotonic scanner we launched was over 20 years ago. It's 23, I believe, 2003. All right? And it took us more than 20 years to get all of you to understand antioxidants. All the scientists together collectively, we have to do a lot of presentation. And finally, you now got it. It's a lot of work for all of you. It's difficult. Let me take you into an elevator or a lift. If you see a stranger in the lift and you say, we have a device, okay? Steve actually said this at the very beginning. And I like to tell you about your antioxidant score. What do you think that new person is going to think and react?
You are crazy.
What is an antioxidant? You have to go through a whole technical explanation on antioxidant before that person actually understands and get interested. But I switched the question. This is what Prysm is all about. Steve had given you that at the very beginning. That's why the lady was up here. Right? What was the question that Steve asked? It was not antioxidant. How, in my words, I would say, Steve say, how is your nutritional health? Same thing that we are measuring, but a different way of asking that. I can almost guarantee you everybody will be interested. That lady, Steve is absolutely right. Less than 15 seconds. In spite of the language barrier, she got it. All she was doing is nodding, yeah. I want to measure. That's the mindset. That's your duplication, okay? I know it's difficult because we still have the current esprit and we are still measuring, scan the world, antioxidant, and so on. It's great. You're actually contributing even more data. Haley showed you how this technology worked, and it's no more Raman spectroscopy if you follow the story of the scanner, but it does not diminish the value of the Raman data. That is our ruler. That is our, what we call the gold standard. Nobody can do that. They can duplicate the technology in the Prysm, but they cannot use it the way that we're using it because they don't have that database. All of you will be going out and talk, oh yeah, this company, maybe they are saying they have artificial intelligence, AI. What does that mean? Really, just a sexy word, AI. But truly, when you truly understand what AI is, it cannot operate if it doesn't have data fed into that computer. It needs data to train the AI. Don't believe me? Even you, when you were born, why are you not instantly clever? You had a brain. You should be instantly a genius, right? We all had to go to school. Why on earth did we go to school for more than 10 years or so? We were training our brain with data. Same thing with a computer. And that's why that Raman scanning the database, although it's very attractive, right, the device and all that, is actually a culmination and a distillation of that Raman database. No Raman database, no Prysm. It will be just another hockey puck. See the duplication? I'm hoping you're getting this mind shift because it's very critical. None of us use a phone, what we call in the States, a landline phone. The one that gets connected to the cable. Nobody uses that, right? Especially in Korea. And anywhere in the world, we are all tied to what? Our cell phone or our mobile phone. That was the paradigm shift. It's the same thing that's happening here. Okay? We've taken the antioxidant, yes, we're measuring that, and you will be asked that question, but we have broken the connection to the antioxidant and benefit. We have translated. We have literally translated what that number means. It is now a nutritional health score, or what has Steve put up there? You can also call it a health span score. And it's very inclusive. And here's what the business is all about, right? Not all of you are sponsoring with the same identical product. Some of you are TRB, some of you are Galvanic Spa, some of you are what? All these products that we have in Nu Skin, you can have it very well connected to the Prysm story when it launches. No more whiplashing. We've done that. Okay. In fact, what we have done, okay, let me show you something. What do you think this is? What do you think this is? Yes. I think all of you recognize it. This is a clinical thermometer. This is when you put in your mouth to measure your body temperature, right? And that's how the doctor knows within, I say less than a minute, whether you have a fever or not. Why on earth does he need to know whether your temperature is high? This thing, believe it or not, was only developed less than 150 years ago by a Professor Allblood. You won't get a joke, but never mind. So, all right? 150 years ago. Before that, it took more than 20 minutes. You got to hold this huge thermometer for 20 minutes. You get a body temperature. This changed your fever into a vital sign. That's the difference. Okay? This is what Prysm is doing. In 15 seconds, you know your nutritional health. And that's what the data. Frankly, I mean, I'm a scientist, right? So I'm always going to live with data. Frankly, sometimes the data, we're not showing you to impress how good we are. We can do anything. We can generate data coming out from the wazoo. We are showing you the data to help you understand why, what the data is telling us. In English, data is meaningless. Information is valuable. That's what Prysm and the Raman database has done for us, is to convert all the data we have collected over 20 years into information that all of you can relate to. That's what you need to duplicate. All right? It's a change. It's a transformation. It is not a new product launch. We've done that. And all the demo that you've done it, thank you for coming and giving us your feedback. Haley is now going home and she's gonna not sleep for the next, I don't know, until we launch it, I guess. Because all that information that you gave her, that you gave us, that's gonna be very valuable to make that device that we have even better when it finally launches, or more consistent. So remember, it's a mindset change. It's not about, we can do new product launches, like I say, all the time. Okay? But this is an opportunity for all of you. And this is not just an opportunity that we put a wet finger in the air and say, oh, this is good for you. We are actually saying this is an opportunity based on data. The Prysm is based on data that we have managed to convert. We are translating it. Yes, antioxidant. So, sometimes we say we put the cart before the horse, and maybe we had done that a little bit with antioxidant, but now we actually have horse in front of the cart so we can actually drive the cart. That's perhaps what we have achieved with the Prysm. And I mean, I can stand here and tell you more, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one telling the story. You. That's the whole point. Actually, when I think we capture all of you on a cruise ship, because unless you want to disappear and jump overboard, we have your full attention, but we would be wasting it if you don't truly appreciate what you have coming out in about a couple of months or by the end of the year for all of you. So I'm hoping I've given you some of these comments on what the data is. Now you have to go back and teach. You're a team lead, right? Some of you actually don't score very well. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you're a team lead. Bad boys. Yeah, or bad ladies too. So, and you always lie to me. Oh yeah, I do that. No, I have to. Right? All right, so I'll leave it at that, and hopefully you get a much better appreciation of what we're trying to do. Okay? Thank you.
Joe Chang? Thank you, Joe. It was awesome. I reminded of Joe's sense of humor, but Joe, do you mind coming up back again? Sorry. You just come up. Sorry, I know. But Joe's my good friend. He's a dear friend. But Joe's been on a little bit of a health journey the last year. We were talking about last night at dinner. And Joe, I don't know if you know, but there's something missing from Joe. You guys see it? All the leaders. Joe, but this is our intermission to talk about products, so we thought we might talk a little bit about touring. Joe, will you take them a little bit through the health journey and tell them what's missing?
Maybe I got a little bit slimmer.
Right here. They all said yes.
Yes. You guys are very bad. You know that? Especially all your team leads. You always look at all of us with a microscope and you scan. You're a scanner. You scan all of us every time we meet you. I don't know. You scan all of us, and Steve, one day he'll get the same treatment.
Well, it's so funny because yesterday, trying to get from dinner over to a meeting, and we got stopped maybe, 6,000 times. And they always give me the camera and say, will you take a picture of Joe and I? So I said, okay. But every time they come up to him, they go, Joe. And I looked at Joe, because I work with Joe, and I'm like, what happened? What do you do? Type thing. And they said, oh, yeah, it's so good. And I thought, wow. And then I realized Joe lost 25 pounds. 25 pounds. And I said, Joe, how did you do that? And he said,
me.
There you go. Boom. There it is. That's.
Thank you. Yeah. Once again, right? Even me, knowing all these signs or whatever, I still suffer from what I call nutritional deficiencies. I'm undernourished, overfed, undernourished. That's what the Prysm is trying to address.
Talk about BMI, and there it is. Okay? So you're never, ever too smart, too healthy, too good to think again about what you're doing with your life. And I just look at Joe, and he's just always getting better, and now getting thinner. So that's great. Thank you for helping me understand what this is. I've had to suck in for the entire time. So real fast, we have a couple of minutes for Q&A. It's like maybe 2 questions if we have them, but I wanted to make sure you understood. When we anybody recognize the song that we played when we walked up? Anybody back here? Anybody? Can we hear that music? What? Sexy back. You got that? So why sexy back? Because I've gone out to the world and I've sat down with leaders and they say, Steve, my business was going boom, boom, boom. And I did a promotion and I did a reel and I was so cool and all this other stuff. And I sold all this, whatever it was, personal care products. I said, that's awesome. They said, yeah, but then I stopped posting for a minute and then my business dropped. I said, of course it did. I said, well, why? I said, because that's sexy. I know you like those personal care products. I know those are fantastic and they work great. But like a lot of things in life, sometimes sexy is stability and subscription, okay? And that's what we're talking about here. Bringing sexy back in terms of subscriptions and life pack. Having a healthy life. Sometimes taking a supplement isn't going to give you immediate energy. It's not going to make your hair all beautiful immediately. You can't do a half-face demo with life pack. It just doesn't work that way. Legs don't get bronzed. Doesn't look great, sexy. What's sexy is your bank account and your ability to say, I sold it once, got them on subscription for 12 times. Now let me tell you why that's so important. Because not only are you selling it once and getting the benefit, you're also helping somebody get on a compliance-based program that's going to help their health and well-being. Okay? Not once, every month. Okay? Different. This is going to change things. It's going to change things for you. It's much easier to sell it once. You have the data, you have the science, you have the patents, you have the research. It's all in your hands, literally, to win. It's never been, in my opinion, a better opportunity to be at Nu Skin than right now, right here. It's going to be amazing. And really, you're the only ones who know what we just shared. No one's ever heard any of what we just shared. So, I've got it down now to 1 question. Do we have 1 question that you're just begging to know? Anyone? Going once, because there's people on the doors wanting to come in, so for the next session. Any other questions? Come on, I know there's going to be a question somewhere. Where is it? Aha, so sorry. I should have turned right.
Does Prysm measure substances other than carotenoids?
Great question. So, His question was, does it measure something besides carotenoids? So what we showed you earlier is, remember how we showed you how smoking, we could actually show you the actual score and how that impacted your overall health. We also showed you BMI, which also, again, is an indicator of health. So you're seeing that shift. So that's not, you have no carotenoids that were measured, we're not going after carotenoids to understand BMI. However, the antioxidant system and so forth, you're looking at how Joe said, a health score, a health nutrient deficiency score, and a health span score. So yes, to answer your question, it does measure, but it measures your overall health score. Okay, it uses certain analytes to be able to see those pigments and understand what's happening inside your body and then provide that information back. So it's carotenoids is a part of it, but it's one part of it. One part of it. Okay, I think that's the best question we've got so far. We'll be here again for the rest of the weekend, unless we jump off the ship, which we don't plan to do. We're really having a good time. We love being with you, and I just hope you know how much we appreciate you. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate your confidence, your stick-to-itiveness, and your light. Thanks so much.